Oh well.
That'll be all right.
Oh, well, let's just get started here. So I got Stephen Magee here, and I kind of roped him in and doing this podcast. He came up here to visit me after dropping his daughter off, who was staying with him. I've known Stephen. I'm going to call him Maggie because I've always called him Maggie. Um, but Stephen Magee's his name. I met you in 2006, right?
Yep.
Yeah, when we both were working at Master Gunner Branch, you were like one of the first guys I met, and you and I became best friends like almost immediately, and we've been best friends ever since. Known you for 19 years now. So whenever he comes up this side of town, he's living in Mississippi right now, and whenever he comes up, he stays at my place, and that's what he's doing right now. And I told him the fee for spending the night is you got to sit down with me and record a conversation. So I'm gonna tell you, this guy, he thinks he doesn't have a story to tell. I've heard his stories over many a beer, over many a night, and this guy's got some stories to tell you. I promise you that. So, Maggie, thank you for doing this with me. Let's just start at the beginning, brother. Where are you from? What was your childhood like? And let's just let everybody get to know you.
Well, I'm going to tell you again. I can't believe you're following Deadpool with Green Lantern after Joey, man.
Ah, no, don't do that.
Dude, you can't follow like Mr. Badass with me.
No, that's not true.
I mean,
You're too humble.
no, it's Joey's amazing. If you guys haven't listened to that last episode Jay did, Joey Garcia, amazing man.
He's an awesome dude.
But I growing up, kind of grew up all over, considered Georgia home. Joined the Army in 93 out of North Carolina, though, and I was an idiot and saw the guys jumping out of airplanes. I'm like, I can do that, but my recruiter was like, nah, you want to be with the tanks, and that's where I ended up being. And first duty station was Germany.
Hold on a second. Was your recruiter a tanker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny because my recruiter was a tanker too, and that he was very instrumental in me choosing tanks.
Oh yeah. It's like I said, I was like, I want to do that, and kind of talked about the guys jumping out of planes. He's like, no, no. Showed me his home video, Grafenwehr, and the stake on tank cable 8 and tank cable 12 recorded. It's like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
First duty station was Germany, and
How old were you? Were you right out of high school?
I was right at high school, man. I was like barely 18 when I got to Fort Knox.
Okay.
And, first duty station was Germany, Alpha Company 467 Armor. Reflagged later to 137, but, it kind of, I think, set me on the path because I had great platoon and great tank commanders in that company. One of my first platoon sergeants was Gerald Groves. Freaking Mike Golf, stellar, and my tank commander sergeant Pineda, Pete Williams, would later become a master gunner. Was one of the instructors when I went through. Unfortunately, we lost Pete back in 2021, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember. But
Yeah, I kind of remember hearing that. What was the cause of his death? I don't remember.
I don't know. It's just
He wasn't that old.
no. He was a couple years older. Or he's about our age now, man.
Yeah.
Amazing dude, though. Real knowledgeable. Like I said, I think you met him when he came through the MGS transition course.
I think so. Yeah. But I've heard about him quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
There's, you used the term Mike Golf. That's Master Gunner qualified. And there's certain guys in our community whose names, they're kind of legendary.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have learned from them or they're leaders at some point, whether it's a platoon sergeant or whatever. And yeah, you hear about a lot of these guys. You've never met them, but you just kind of know who they are.
Yeah.
So our community's not that big.
I kind this is kind of crazy. I talked to Jack Cooper a couple years ago, and at that time, the current course from 50 years of Master Gunner is what we have right now.
Right.
At the time, it was like a little over 5,000 of us had been produced since
Really?
1975.
5,000 master gunners.
Yeah. And I've kind of,
I had no idea there was that many.
well, you got to remember, man, like back in the day, courses used to be jam packed
Okay.
and going all the time. And then they've been getting progressively smaller over time.
Okay. So essentially, in the post-Vietnam era
Yeah.
until our era, there was probably a lot more master gunners. Well, there was certainly a lot more tankers in the Army at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. So,
But, you know, I've kind of extrapolated seeing who's graduating from when I got that number. And I still think we haven't hit 6,000 yet in this 50 years.
wow.
So you do the math. That's what, a little over 100 of us a year?
Yeah, I was thinking if I was to guess, and you can help me out on this, when we were teaching, we taught roughly 2006 to 2010. We taught for 4 years at the Master Gunner branch. And I would say maybe 100 students a year, 150 maybe? What do you think?
150 at the max,
At the max.
especially when we're doing an MTT with an in-house.
Right, when we were traveling on the road and taking the school on the road,
Yeah.
plus school. Yeah, I think that we picked up a few more by doing that. But still, we're not talking a lot of students.
No.
100 to 150 students a year.
Man, well, and that's what,
And that's what comes to the course, right?
yeah.
That's not what graduates.
No. Because you remember there'd be times we start with 12 and end up with 5 or 6.
I want to say we had one where we ended up with one graduate. Do you remember that?
No.
And maybe I'm wrong.
I know.
Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, but it was certainly common to have a fairly large group to start and only graduate a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty normal. Now, I don't know what our attrition rate was. I'm sure they had a percentage figured out of how many people attend the course versus how many actually pass the course and what that attrition rate was. I know it was one of the highest attrition rates
Yeah.
in the Army
For academics.
for academics. Yeah, it's not a physically challenging school at all.
Oh.
If you break a sweat, then you're doing something well, other than the final exam, maybe.
Well, what was it on the PT test? You know, why are you still pushing?
Yeah, we're not. There's
no PT award.
Yeah. Do your minimum and get up, dude.
Yeah.
We're just checking the block here.
TRADOC says we have to do this.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke, wasn't it? And you know, I remember, well, I'm going to say his name, First Sergeant Hay.
Yeah.
When we would do our PT test, we would do the minimum and get
Yep.
up. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he gets so mad because we weren't like trying to max
Max
out our
out.
PT. And it's like, we don't care, man. We're here. Maybe we should have cared a little more. I don't know. But that used to really upset him.
Who cares?
Yeah, nobody cared if he was upset.
No.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're a young man when you joined the Army, 18. What year was that? 94?
93.
93. Okay. Bosnia, was that your first
Yeah.
real life, real world tour?
Yes.
Okay. And that was out of Germany, right?
That was out of Germany in 96, right when it first kicked off.
Tell me about that.
It was wild. It's I was, like I said, I was in the Alpha Company, but the way they had set up the Dayton Accords and all that, we were only taking 2 tank companies out of our battalion.
Okay.
So they gutted Alpha and Bravo Company and
Plus
up Charlie and Delta. I ended up in the mortar platoon for a little bit. You know, they put in paperwork for a secondary. Got there, was only in that mortar platoon for about a month, and then they're like, okay, you're in Delta Company. Okay, we're taking the 2. Oh, and we plus up Charlie and Delta with the old float tanks.
Yeah, oh God.
So they had 15 tanks versus 14.
Wow.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to pull those 2 tanks out of the companies. You're going to be part of headquarters company platoon where the colonel's gunner actually commanded the tank. XO's gunner commanded the tank and going to be in there. And then someone found out we had stolen the 2 tanks from the FSB, and they're like, you can't do that. Ended up in the S3 shop and then ended up PCS and right toward the end of that tour. Because this is one of those weird things of your orders were for no more than 365 days.
Okay.
And I actually came down to orders for Fort Knox, and
While you were in Bosnia.
yeah, and I left about a month before the battalion came back, and PCS to Knox, and was in. We had just reflagged from 416 to 116. And the troop I was in, we did 2 missions, tank commander certification course,
Mm-hmm.
which got instructor certified, and I was an E5 teaching TC3.
Okay.
And then we supplied tanks to Master Gunner School.
Okay.
And you remember when we were there, it was they just come drop the tanks off.
Yeah.
Back then, it was you would take the tanks over, and the small group instructors knew each of us. And, I had Sergeant Birdsong, who would later be our branch manager.
Yeah.
He'd be like, point to me and point to a bay, and he'd be like, put your tank in here. And it was also a cool thing because we would hang out at the school. We didn't go back and do other stuff until that was like right before I left in 2000 or 98, that they had us going to do other stuff instead of hanging with the tank.
Mm-hmm.
But our whole job was, if that tank went down, that tank was out of the bay and the new tank was in there, ready for
Right.
those Mike Elf.
So there's no downtime for students.
And it was also Wakeland was the Dane Commandant at the time.
Wow. That'd have been cool. He was an awesome dude.
And Wakeland, he'd talk to us. He'd be like, hey, man, why don't you guys go sit in the back of class, learn something, instead of sitting here effing off.
Yeah.
So we go sit in the back of class, and I'd be like, wow.
That's amazing. Joey talked about that.
Yeah.
How he would go over there and they'd get a gun tube tech class.
Yeah.
And for young soldiers that just already think tanks are just the coolest things that there is, that's pretty awesome, because the level of knowledge that master gunners have and share with their students, it's fascinating. I mean, I would sit through it again today, just because there's just so much good information there. So much. It's just an awesome course. Awesome course.
And the level that the instructors are held to know that information.
Right.
And you don't know it as a student or as someone watching, and you can attest to it. You don't understand it until you go through instructor checkout.
Right. Yeah. We used to say that we would have 90% of the information that we had. Well, we would know 100% of the information, but what we shared with the students was only about 10 to 20% of it. Yeah. But we had that other 80% for those questions, or for that random student that would try to troubleshoot you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you think you're smart.
I'm going to shut you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's kind of like Joey was saying, man, freaking amazing master gunners that were, because we had the TC3 course. We had the A1, Golf Troop had the A2 one.
Okay.
We had Jeff Miles, freaking amazing tank master gunner. Freaking Mike Mosier. Mike was in Golf Company. Dave Price. I don't know if you remember him.
I've heard his name too.
Dave, great dude.
Is he a black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Dave actually went through Master Gunner School while we were at Fort Knox together. His son was actually born the night before Exam 7.
Oh my God.
He went straight from the hospital into Exam 7.
Really?
And smoked it.
Good for him. That's awesome.
But, Mel Tinsley.
Annette Tinsley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, these are legends.
Leadership.
Yeah. Straight up legends. That's really cool.
And then, like I said, the guy who was for Korea showed up in Korea. And you heard Joey talk about Stack Master Gunner Company. Korea, we had.
Were you in Deuce Tank or First Tank?
I was Deuce Tank, brother.
Okay.
But
I'm sorry.
Shit. So First Sergeant was First Sergeant Stanley, later Sergeant Major Stanley.
Yeah.
Freaking, my platoon sergeant was Dennis Stroh. Amazing Mike Golf, amazing leader. Dave Price ends up showing up about 3 months after I'm there. He's on the two tank. Second platoon, Paul Hartless that we taught with he's a civilian. He's second platoon's platoon sergeant.
Wow.
You had Doug Orson, Jack Castelaw, battalion. After Sergeant Kehoe left, we have Bill Darnell. It's like
just studs.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
And I kind of think about that company too. How many master gunners came out of not just that battalion? Because across my hall was Richard Smith was the instructor when I went through. Me and Evans were roommates, and you and Evans taught together. Jason Evans.
Yeah. Jason Evans, we were talking about him a couple weeks ago when you were up here. He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Jason, if you're here, this brother, reach out to us.
Yeah. Jason, amazing dude.
Yeah.
And hell of a master gunner, hell of a tanker.
Yeah. For sure.
Freaking Jason Crosby. And there's so many more guys that were in that battalion at the same time that were later master gunners or just, like you said, legends.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you were in Korea from when to when?
99 to 2000.
Okay. When did you get to third ID?
Third ID was February of 2000.
Okay, so you went from Korea to third ID.
Yeah.
So you're with third ID for a couple of years before you go to Iraq.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm assuming you're a tank commander.
Yeah.
The whole time you're in third ID.
Yeah.
When did you go to master gunner school? Before or after Iraq?
After Iraq.
Okay.
It was weird. So that first year I was in third ID, we were straight DRF 1, Division Readiness Force.
Okay.
So it was like 3 weeks, your bags are packed, you're on 1 hour recall, got your government issue page.
Right. Really? You got
Yeah.
the pagers?
Yes, pagers.
And this is the whole time you're in third ID, you mean?
Yeah.
Division recall. Because I've never been in third ID, and that's something that's...
It's an 82nd Airborne or 18th Airborne Corps thing.
Okay.
Because we were the heavy force to augment the airborne if the balloon went up.
Right.
But pretty much the first year there was like DRF on and off. Then we got spliced over to 130 Infantry to go to Kosovo in 2001.
Okay. So even before Iraq, you're going to Kosovo.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, we're at Fort Polk for our readiness exercise for Kosovo when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And, it sounds crazy, but it took that second plane hitting before we realized that it wasn't part of the scenario that we're doing.
Interesting.
Because OC comes by, he's like, hey, a plane just hit the World Trade Center. Your PCI is still in 10 minutes. Yeah, okay. Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So you think this might be part of the scenario that you guys are doing for the readiness exercise?
And then we're getting ready to roll, and they're like, hey, a plane just hit the second tower, stand down.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you guys think?
I don't know. It was crazy. We're kind of thinking maybe get redirected somewhere else. Evidently that didn't happen, but we had one kid in our platoon from New York, Miller. Great kid, but the focus kind of became getting him to a phone to check on his people.
Right.
So
were they okay?
Yeah, they were fine.
Okay, good.
But he was stressed out.
I'm sure.
That it was about 2 days with a little black and white TV like this,
trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was just totally kind of insane after that. Craziest thing, last day in the box, we get hit with twin tornadoes, and one of the guys from 10th Mountain gets freaking struck by lightning.
Oh my God. Well, Fort Polk was something else.
Yeah.
That was not a fun place to train. Swamps, mosquitoes the size of crows. Yeah, not a fun place.
But get back to Benning, it takes us like 12 hours to get through the front gate because traffic's that backed up.
I was so glad I lived on post in that time frame, because
Yeah.
if you lived off post, because for people that don't know, prior to September 11th, anybody could drive on post.
Oh, yeah.
There was no gate guard. There were sensitive areas on post that you had to show ID to get into. But to just drive onto post or drive through post, like Fort Riley, for instance, had a main road that went
Right through it.
right through post. So people that were civilians would just drive right through Fort Riley.
Oh, yeah.
And then overnight, they tried to figure out, how are we going to lock this post down and build gates and put people on gate guard. And yeah, the traffic, it would take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to get on post, because they were still trying to figure out how to
Deal
secure.
with everything.
Yeah, that was a wild time. It was a really wild time. Changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
Changed everything overnight. I've never talked about this on a podcast yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, because I don't give a shit.
Go for it.
So it's September 11th. We're about to go to NTC, and we watched everybody's down in the day room, because it was during PT hours. It was right after PT, before our 9 o'clock formation. In that time frame is when the planes are hitting the towers. We were Central Time, so anywho, so we're watching this happen, and we're like, oh man, what is going on? We figure we're going to NTC, so we're going to be the most ready brigade in the Army. So if anybody's going anywhere, it's going to be us.
Yeah.
And so we had a briefing that was already scheduled, and the battalion commander's given this briefing, and I want to say it was for tank commanders and above. And we were all in the room, all in the conference room, and he's given this briefing. And the briefing was not on anything that was going on in real world. It was on NTC. And at one point, a major comes in, and I can't remember if he was the XO or if he was the S3. I don't remember. But he had been in the skiff, and he had been getting real world, up-to-date info on what was going on. And that at that time, Flight 93 still was not accounted for.
Oh, man.
Right. And it goes down in Pennsylvania, and he comes running into the conference room and announces to everybody these words: "We shot down the last plane." And then he ran back out. And we all look at each other, and we all kind of like acknowledge that that was probably the right thing to do, is to shoot down that last plane. But then the news came out days and weeks later, and the news was that the
Passengers force plane.
the passengers took over the plane, and then the plane went down. I don't know, but I don't know, and I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but that major came into that conference right out of the skiff and said, "We shot the last plane down."
Well, think about it this way too. When we were getting our JRTC briefs, the same thing. I thought it was crazy because we're going in there and it's like when we're doing secret ammo, they're checking your name to make sure you have the clearance.
Yeah.
And not letting you in if you don't.
Right.
But they briefed us, expecting major terrorist attack on American soil in the next 90 days.
Really?
And then 45 days later, 9/11 happened.
No kidding. So you guys actually had a heads up.
Yeah, but the thing is how many times do you hear that?
All the time.
And so you kind of blow it off, but
Sure.
it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Well, they were already on our radar. Al Qaeda was.
Yeah.
Most people in America, I don't think, really knew who bin Laden was or Al Qaeda unless you really paid attention to the news. But I was in Kuwait in 2000 when the USS Cole was bombed.
Yeah.
And that was an Al Qaeda attack. And so they were already on our radar.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. So that obviously kicked off the rest of your and I's military career.
Yeah.
So now we went from peacetime army or Bosnia. Bosnia was the only, and Kosovo
Yeah.
was like the only real world mission we had going on at the time. And now we've got global war on terrorism. Here we go. So, but you still went to Kosovo.
Yeah.
How long was that tour?
Ended up it's supposed to be a 6-month rotation, but an earthquake happened in Kosovo at the time.
Okay.
And we kind of got stuck in the extra month. And it was kind of crazy because while we were in Kosovo, the rest of our brigade deployed to Kuwait for Operation Desert Spring.
Okay.
So it was kind of a weird thing where Kelly Hill was a ghost town.
Right. Everybody's occupied and doing something.
Yeah. And, we come back from Kosovo. We're back about a month. The rest of the brigade comes back. I think it's about a month, maybe two. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're getting RFI. We're going back to Kuwait. And that January, we're heading back to the desert.
So the invasion kicks off March 18th, if I remember correctly. March 18th, 2003. You guys are on the ground in Kuwait in January.
Yes.
Okay. Question for you. In that time frame, I was in Korea, but my unit that I had just left, 270th Armor out of 1st Army Division, we were always told that our tanks at Fort Riley were just there for us to beat up and train them.
Yeah.
And that if we ever were called to go to war, we would draw a tank in theater in Kuwait, and those would be our tanks. Well, that turned out to be total bullshit. They ended up taking.
Took your guys' tanks?
They took our tanks. What did you guys do? Did you guys draw tanks?
We drew those old beat up piece of shit Doha tanks.
Okay, so you guys are the ones that ended up drawing those tanks.
Yeah, and
they were pieces of shit.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was 270 or 170, but we did have a brigade have Riley with us.
Okay.
In fact, another guy from Korea, Trey Black, freaking amazing light bulb, amazing tanker. Couple nuts loose, but
yeah, well, that's par for the course with us.
But, he was there in my golf. Like I said, I hadn't been to school yet, but I was kind of getting prepared to. The two other companies, Master Gunners, Mario Serenese and Dave Smith, little 3 foot tall Smee the pimp. Freaking amazing guys. But they were kind of, they were grooming me, getting me ready.
Right.
So I was playing Master Gunner for the company while also being a tank commander.
Okay. Were you responsible for screening the company and getting them ready to go?
All that.
Awesome.
All the same jobs, and and then like I said, when I got there to Udara Range, and Trey's there. He's like, "Hey, man, you can give me a hand. I'll help you out when your company's up here. We got this." He's like, "I know you ain't been to school yet, brother, but you know what you're doing." But it's the same thing with any Master Gunner. You see one of your brothers, you're like, "What do you need? How can I help you cover down?"
Yeah.
Or if you don't know something, you're like on the phone or on the radio being like, "Hey, man, help me out. I can't figure this out." And that's what I love about network.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, we're not going to let anybody fail.
Yeah.
You just got to reach out.
But we had been without, when we got back from Kosovo, our company Master Gunner, I can't remember, Sergeant Dunn had PCS'd. Another great.
William Dunn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing dude.
Mm-hmm.
But, we were once again spliced back to 130 Infantry from our our battalion of 269 Armor.
Okay.
And we're the same task force we went to Kosovo with, basically, for the invasion.
Okay. So that task force, do you remember how many tank companies in this task force?
We were the only tank company with 130 Infantry.
Okay. So tank company and then a bunch of Bradleys.
Yeah. And 269 got a or a Bradley company from 130.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's basically how we would do it in 270th also. We'd split a company off to augment an infantry battalion, and they would send a company to augment our tank battalion.
Yeah, and then it's kind of crazy too, though, because, you're doing your little desert train ups, hoping all the UN crazy stuff works.
What do you mean UN crazy stuff? What do you mean?
all the inspections and sanctions and
Oh, okay. That maybe there won't be a war.
yeah.
Okay.
And, all you're hearing from battalion brigade is, oh, capitulation, capitulation, capitulation.
Okay.
It's like, really?
I know you get all dressed up and you're ready for a fight.
Yeah.
You kind of want to fight.
Yeah. And then we start getting a bunch of dang embed. I almost said inbred. Embed reporters. Like we had a camera crew from BBC.
Really?
And, we're, I think, originally on Camp New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved to Tactical Assembly Area in Maine in February.
Okay.
And it had to be after the 15th because that's when Jake was born. And I was still in New Jersey to get that Red Cross message.
Did you get to go home?
No.
Oh.
So my first two Red Cross messages in the Army came within an hour of each other. First one was my son was born. The second one was my grandmother just died.
Oh my God. And you're about to go to war.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But like I said, I think it was a couple days later, we moved out of New Jersey to TA, Maine. And we
keep talking. I'm going to fill up this glass of water and I'm going to get
No
you
worries.
one. I know you just say you don't want one, but I'm going to get one. But keep talking.
All right. But trying to think, we did all our crazy train up stuff. We're out doing platoon maneuvers, company maneuvers, the battalion, then the brigade live fire.
Okay.
And in fact, that's where we lost our first guy, was during that brigade live fire.
During the train up.
Yeah. One of the Bradleys had a round half cycle,
Okay.
and our OCs were MPRI guys.
Okay.
You remember them?
Yeah.
Well, this is an old retired Bradley Master Gunner did like he was taught, was using a screwdriver and a hammer to unlodge the round, and the round explodes in the Bradley turret, kills him and Sergeant Hemingway.
No kidding. Oh my God.
So,
Training accidents happen.
oh yeah, I don't think I've ever been to NTC without losing somebody.
No. I've been to 4 NTC rotations and somebody died every
Yeah.
single time. Every single time.
But, going through the live fires, practicing going over AVOBs and all this crazy stuff, and then it gets real crazy because they're like, hey, here's a schedule. You're going to spend 2 hours as a tank section out just driving in circles in the desert so aircraft can fly over and identify you. And they know what an Abrams looks like.
Oh, Jesus. They're doing vehicle ID right before the invasion.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And, we're doing that for a couple nights, and then move out to the.
Well, we definitely want aviation to know what our vehicles are.
Oh, yeah. But, it was us and the Bradleys both doing it. And,
Yeah, because in the first Gulf War, there were
fratricide.
There was a lot of fratricide from Apaches and things, mainly Apaches were taking out.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. They just, in the fog of war,
yeah,
you have people where they think they're supposed to be, and you have troops intermixing.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you got friendly fire.
But, that's the crazy thing is, I remember not to train up for Kosovo, but right before we'd done the Marne Focus. And I remember one night we're out there, we're on a screen line, and I'm calling up, hey, I got dismounts at this grid. Negative, we don't have any friendlies there. I'm like, hey, I know there's a dismount patrol out. Have them confirm their location. They say they're at this grid. Okay, let's do near far. Negative, they're at this grid. I'm like, all right, I'm engaging. Shoot off a stream of blank coax, and next thing I know, well, we're initiating a 15-6 for fratricide because I'm like, you told me engage.
Yeah, it's not on you, bro.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, confirm relocation, but guys didn't know where they were on the map.
Yeah,
And it happens.
it does happen.
But that also leads me into something crazy. As we're moving out to the TAA, we finally get our maps. We're taking 6 or 8 map sheets and taping them all together to get to that first objective, which is Firebirds at Tallil Air Base. And they're like, we'll get you more maps later on.
Remind me where Tallil Air Base is. How far north is that?
That's southern Iraq, just southeast of Najaf.
So that's pretty far south. And you guys are going to end up going all the way to Baghdad,
Yeah,
which is twice as far as Najaf.
way further than Najaf.
Yeah.
It's
Najaf's pretty far south.
oh yeah. But once again, we're so far into Kuwait that it took us a day and a half to even get to Tallil.
So you're talking about so the invasion has begun now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But, like I said, we got the maps, put them together. They're like, you'll get more maps after Tallil.
Okay. Can't wait to see where this is going.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know where it's going.
Yeah. Sounds like the army I know.
But, then,
And this is before, what did we have GPS wise back? Did we have daggers or were we still using
pluggers.
We were still using pluggers, which
Yeah.
were first generation GPS.
Oh, yeah.
They were garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, even though we're like the rapid deployment force,
hmm
we're still using PBS 5s.
The worst night vision optics.
Yeah.
hmm
The platoon leader and platoon sergeant were the only two that had pluggers.
And you're a 2 tank at this point.
I'm a 3 tank.
You're the 3 tank. You're
Yeah.
the platoon sergeant's wingman.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I used to joke, that was white trash 3. But, moved out to the attack position.
Okay.
And I remember sitting there and I'm smoking a cigarette. We've been up all day prepping the tank for the move. And it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I hear something that sounds like a freaking 68 Volkswagen bus with a bad muffler. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look up and there's just these slow moving streaks shooting sparks up and going through the sky. And it's the Scuds that Iraq was shooting at Kuwait.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So a Scud sounds like a 68 VW bus.
Yeah. It's like
Scuds. The worst ballistic missile on the planet.
Yeah.
What we used to say about Scuds, they're good from far, but far from good.
Oh, yeah. But saw those flying over, and that's kind of like when it really kicked in.
This is a war.
Yeah. Then finally we got the go word, and we're shooting toward the breach in the berm. And I'm just blown away when we get to the berm because it is stacked with Kuwaiti army
Really?
cheering us on, like jumping up and down. It's like, if these guys know.
How did you not?
Yeah. I'm like, well, that and how the Iraqis don't know what's happening.
How many days out before the invasion did you know, like, no shit, we're going north?
Those last couple days in TAA, it kind of was like, okay.
This is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
The capitulation talk kind of died down, and it's like, okay, don't shoot at the BMPs and tanks on the berm because they're dead already. Stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So now you're passing this entourage of Kuwaiti army who's cheering you on as you're crossing the berm.
And it's like, what in the hell?
Now, are you on MSR Tampa?
No, we're going straight through the desert, man.
Okay. Okay.
Like when the sun came up, there were no distinguishing features anywhere except for IV lines.
No kidding.
And it's one of those you're talking to your driver about. My driver Dustin Lyris, freaking had little problems before I got him. I was always a tank that I was a rehab tank.
Yeah, I ended up with that position too.
But he was amazing as my driver. Amazing guy. My loader, Jake Birch. I got this kid 2 weeks before we LD'd.
Wow.
Like
Right out of basic training.
right out of basic training, man. So he's brand spanking new. My gunner, Rosando Varela, great kid. Me and him had some falling outs during the invasion. You're stuck on a tank with somebody forever.
Yeah,
You know,
it's gonna happen. Personalities clash
Yeah.
sometimes.
um, much love for the kid, great dude, but I haven't talked to him since.
That's a bone.
Um, he actually ended up going to my golf school, but
Pretty good.
and talking to some other guys I know, ended up being a hell of a tank commander. So, but that's my crew. I had Miko Johnson as my platoon sergeant.
Okay.
Freaking imagine hearing Tone Loke on the freaking net every time the
Is it-
platoon sergeant keys up. That's Miko.
Tone Loke. I haven't heard that
Yeah.
name in 100 years.
But you remember that real deep, gravelly bass voice?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that damn song.
Yeah.
Was it Green something? What was that song?
Oh, I can't remember.
Tone Loke.
Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah, I was thinking Green Medina.
Yeah.
Funky cool Medina. So that's your platoon sergeant.
Yeah. And then the two tank was we call him Doc King, Daryl King. Freaking this dude, amazing guy. Freaking, dude was crazier than I'll get out. Freaking, but just cool as a cucumber, man. And we'll kind of get to that, but
Okay.
um, you know, just amazing platoon.
What time did you guys SP to cross the border? Was it
I don't remember, man. It was
late night?
Yeah, it was dark out.
So sun rises, you're in Iraq.
Yeah, we punched through the berm, and I remember Doc, Sergeant King. He comes over and he's like, "Hey, some dumb MFer lost their road wheels because the hub shears." And
Yeah.
he's like, a couple minutes later, he's like, "Oh, never mind, I'm that asshole."
Oh, Jesus. Did you guys have to stop?
No, we kept pushing.
Okay.
But like I said, we're using those old beat up Doha tanks.
Right. So shit's gonna break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we're pushing, and we're just trying to make your ROM point.
Okay.
Refuel and move.
Right.
Um,
So
and-
he's crippling his tank along.
yeah, he's just rolling it.
I know I'd heard stories that if some guys, if they had like severe breakdowns, you just stayed in place. Your tank became a bunker and everybody just kept rolling.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we kept rolling and got to the refuel and move point. And I don't know if my tank aborted during the refuel, but we're doing a 2-minute drill. You get 2 minutes
Yeah.
to get as much gas as you can.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if somehow they changed up on us where it wasn't going to be a hot refuel. You had to shut down, or if my tank aborted. But I remember 2 minutes hit, tossed the 2 fuel lines off to the fuelers, went to start again, and wouldn't start. Pulled the bitch plate, went to start hammering on the starter. Starter starts shooting flames out.
Oh no.
Luckily, mechanics pull up. Within 10 minutes, new stars on. Freaking Sergeant Dixon, we call him Shade Tree, mechanic. Shade Tree went in there hot without pulling the pack. Just new starter in, tanks fired up, we're rolling.
That's incredible. And for people that have never been around an Abrams tank,
Yeah.
it's a turbine engine. Everything underneath that back deck where that engine is hotter than shit.
Oh yeah.
So changing out a starter after you've been running for hours,
Hours.
that's some
That's
heroic
dedication.
shit. That's some
Yeah.
heroic stuff because that's hot.
And like I said, Dixon, amazing mechanic.
Good for him. That's awesome.
And we get rolling again, and we push all the way up, get started again out, and we're stopping short till ill.
Okay, so you've gone a whole day. Have you had any contact?
No,
All right.
just plain open desert, and you're in a brigade wedge.
Closer.
You're in a brigade wedge.
Wow. That's massive.
And like I said, you're in the desert, so you can look left and right, and all you see
Vehicles.
in a perfect formation.
That's
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, that's cool. That's definitely cool.
But
As far as the eye could see, right?
oh yeah. But we get just short to Lille. We kind of call them up
Mhm.
while the engineers go in to blow a breach in the minefield.
Okay.
And the craziest thing
Did you have a plow on your tank?
Yeah, I was a plow tank.
Yep.
Um,
A plow is a mine plow. It's a
yeah,
5-ton attachment on the front of the tank for you can drop it and roll through a minefield.
plow up the dirt, get rid of it, and
Yeah, and then the other tanks follow the spoil that you just made.
but we weren't going to plow through this breach.
No, a lot of
Um,
mines.
yeah, but I remember, we're sitting there waiting on them, and they're going to breach it, micklick it, the whole thing.
Hmm.
Um, and then just remember a convoy shooting past us of LMTVs and Humvees.
Uh-oh.
And I remember not that all I saw was an FSB as one of the bumper numbers.
Oh no.
And
Were they third ID?
I don't know. All I remember seeing it was the FSB. And someone later on said it was
Jessica, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But I remember calling up.
Like, who are these people?
I'm like, hey, I've got FSB blowing past me. I don't know where they're going.
And you guys should be the front line of troops, right?
Yeah.
So there should not be support personnel passing.
Shooting past.
No, because they're going into Indian country without tanks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's bad. And that's how Jessica Lynch ended up, well, her whole unit got ambushed. Was it in Najaf?
In Najaf.
In Najaf. And she was taken hostage for a while.
Yeah. There's like, what, 12 of them?
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 killed?
Yeah. But Jessica Lynch is the only one that everybody remembers because she was pretty.
Yeah. But they blow past us, and then, like I said, we've been up forever, and I'm nodding off, and all of a sudden I look up, and I see my 4 tanks tail lights making a hard right, and I'm like, Lyris, go, 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 go. So we're catching up, going to shoot the breach, and we get in the breach, and all of a sudden we're stopped. It's like, what the hell?
The last place you want to stop.
Yeah. Well, the problem is tank went in protective mode, and it's like, wait a minute, are we on the right side of the markers? Okay, right on the right. And Lyris is, if I remember right, pumping the reset button, creeping us out.
Yeah, come
through
it, Mike.
He's creeping us out back into there, and then finally, I guess it sticks and catch up to the platoon. End up starting to shoot down the airfield, and transmission goes out.
So your tank is fucked again.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But luckily,
this time it's not a quick 10-minute fix.
No, it's luckily they had a transmission with a log pack or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
End up pulling it the next morning and everything else. And
is your rest of platoon with you?
No, they pushed up
forward?
a little further, and we ended up catching up with them later on that day. And
okay,
and
that's a nightmare when you're already been on the road for that long,
Yeah.
And then you have to do maintenance, pull an engine, replace the transmission, put the engine back in,
Yeah.
and get back on the road again. I mean, it's just that's the life of a tanker.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of hard work in between the sex scenes.
Well, and here's the crazy thing is I don't remember if it was this or if like they had set up the boneyard around us or if this was later on. I remember the motor sergeant coming around and telling us we had to do stand to and get out of the tank and lay in the prune in front of the tank. It's like, no. I'm like, 9 mil, 50 yards, 50 cal.
Yeah, 1,800 meters. Yeah,
I'm like, 240 main gun.
yeah,
You know, I'm pointing at body armor. I'm like, body armor, real armor.
yeah.
And they're flipping out that, what, you need to be on the ground. I'm like, this ain't an NTC, man.
I know, and that's the problem. They teach, and I used to get pissed off because at NTC they would do that. The boneyard is basically where you go when your vehicle breaks down, and that's where the mechanics are and everything else. And you set up in a coil, everybody's facing out in a circle, and they would always want us to dig a foxhole in front of our tank, and that would be, and nowadays in Ukraine and Russia, I could see there's
Yeah.
merit to that, but in that war that makes no sense. You want to
No.
be in your tank, not in a foxhole in front of your damn tank.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, NTC trains some bad habits.
It does.
You know, so okay, all right. So UCMP, that's what they used to call
Yeah.
it. The UCMP.
UMC.
Or, yeah, I can't remember. It's been so damn long since I've been in one.
Yeah, maintenance collection point.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But,
So the boneyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, get caught up with the platoon, and, we're just continuing to push toward, like, the northwest. Keeping going,
Okay.
rocking on. I remember night fell, and they're like, okay, look, you guys are going to go ahead and screen forward, and then we're going to come back and do a short halt and do a company call or something for the night, or I can't remember.
Okay.
But I just remember we're doing our screen, totally blacked out.
Okay.
You know, even the old school, undo all your little lights out of your commander's panel and GPS and pull the light bulbs out.
Right. Totally dark.
Totally dark. Gunners using thermals. Driver's got his night vision device in. Me and the loader up there with our
PBS fives.
yep, can't see shit.
Yeah.
But we had our limited advance, and then we turn around and come back. And after about 5 minutes, we crested the IV line. It's like the whole platoon just locks brakes up. Nothing in front of us. You can't see anything but freaking white light. Everybody coming north was running white light. It's like, what in the hell's going on?
Oh my God.
And I just remember,
U.S. Army
yes,
coming with their headlights on.
yeah. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, man, I am glad that supposedly there's no artillery out here to drop, because this is just one big target.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the tactics that we used, which, it's the invasion was a resounding success.
Yeah.
But against a pure army, Russia, for instance, yeah, they would have got jacked up.
Well, that's the funny thing is everyone thinks war's like Saving Private Ryan or Fury. I'm like, no, it's more like Kelly's Heroes or
Hogan's Heroes.
yeah.
Or
And I'm like, it's
a comedy of errors.
yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of sexy stuff that happens that goes off perfect, but there's a lot of stuff like you're like, how the fuck did we do that?
Yeah. How did we pull that off? So true. So true. Wow. I thought you were going to say you went up on the screen line and that was your first engagement.
No, you know, really, I don't remember anything in as far as engagements until the Samwa, which was the next day or two. Got to Samwa, and that's the big sandstorm that
Oh,
where it
yeah.
looked like Mars, and like
Yeah.
visibility was nothing.
Right.
And I remember we're creeping through a Samwa, man, and like I said, I'm in the three tank. I'm the last in the convoy, gun tube over the back deck, and I can barely see my platoon sergeant tank ahead of me. You know, I'm actually kind of more following the sound than I am
Right.
what I can see. But I remember we're pushing through, and I look over to my left because I was checking Birch out, make sure he's okay, because you know we're getting blasted with sand.
Yeah.
And
Those pictures I've seen of that sandstorm were absolutely insane.
dude, it was crazy, but it parted just enough. We're on like a 4 lane, like there are 2 lanes going this way,
Yeah.
2 lanes coming this way with a small median.
Hmm.
It parted enough, and there were 2 pickup trucks full of Saddam Fedayeen
Oh, wow.
moving the other direction. Had somehow not been spotted by anyone else in the convoy.
Wow.
And I remember calling up the contact report, and I'm yelling at Lyris, you know, because I'm gonna have them pull off, drop down into a hold down because I saw RPGs. I'm like, I don't want to get hit with an RPG.
No.
But I'm calling up the contact report. Gun tube's going over the front, but then I guess once contact got called up over the company radio, everybody let loose.
Really?
And tracers were going everywhere. And I know it was probably more a couple meters in front of the tank, but it felt like I had Bradley rounds going over the front slope
Yeah.
and small arms and everything else, and we're shooting forward, and you know that's going off. And I just remember yelling at Lyris, I'm like, back up hard right, getting that hold down. And you know, after a couple minutes, it's like, all right, break contact. Everybody fall out, move to the scred. We're going to coil up, wait for the sandstorm to clear. But as we're moving, I hear Storm King come over the net. He's like, hey, man, I missed the turn.
So he's lost in the sandstorm.
He's lost in the sandstorm. And granted, none of, I think the platoon leader and platoon sergeants have gotten updated maps. Us wing tanks don't have maps, but Doc, he had bought a one of the old Magellan brick GPSs.
Oh my God.
And Doc's like, just send me a grid. That's all he said over that. He's like, I'll get back to you. I'll just send me a grid. And Sergeant Jay's like, Doc, just stop. We'll come to you. He's like, just send me a standby. Boom. We had a truck full of Iraqis, his dump truck. I don't know how many it was, but you know, I took care of him. What grid y'all going to?
He's all calm and cool after just lighting up.
Cool as a cucumber, man. And that's all he'd say is, you know, we're kind of freaking out because he's out there alone and unafraid downtown Assam.
Wow.
And
In a fight.
in the fight, Saddam Fedayeen.
And these guys are fanatics.
Yes.
The Fedayeen were the ones that were going to fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude's just cool as all get out. Freaking. And you know, it's kind of crazy because in our pre-deployment gunnery, I remember this is the same guy that almost had a breakdown, nervous breakdown. His TIS went out after his first engagement,
Mm-hmm.
and he was afraid he's going to Q2 and get relieved as a tank commander.
Yeah.
Having a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
But here we are in a real fight.
And he's just calm as cool. Calm and cool as a cucumber.
Everything.
Good for him.
And just total badass.
Isn't it wild that the pressure of losing your job as a tank commander back in garrison scares you more than an actual fight?
Yeah. But like I said, amazing tank commander.
That's awesome. I love to hear stories like
Yeah.
that.
Then you know, he of course uses dagger or uh, GPS got back to us, and we kind of hunkered down till storm cleared. And he's like, I kept telling y'all, just send me a grid, I'll find you.
Do you remember Osiris?
Yeah.
Osiris, I don't know, you may know this story, but during that sandstorm, I want to say he was third ID also,
Okay.
I think. But they were in the sandstorm and they were running as a section. It was him and his platoon sergeant, and they were about 1,000 meters away from some Bradleys. And the Bradleys identified them and then lit them up.
Yeah.
And he actually had his tank shot out from underneath him. They all survived, but the tank was a total
Yeah. He
loss.
gets 37 cav
37 cav. Okay.
because they were a little further ahead of us going to a different area when that happened.
Okay. Yeah, that really screwed him up.
Yeah.
That was a bad, you know, they almost died by friendly fire.
Yeah.
They were getting lit up pretty good from some Bradleys. And granted, it is what it is. It was a sandstorm. It's 1,000 meters out. Could they really identify who they're shooting at? They're in a fight with a bunch of other people, so they see these two vehicles out there. I don't know. I'm not going to second guess it, but
Dude, I'll tell you this. Even well, of course, we're using the old school TIS, which was garbage.
it was not good thermals at all. And the Bradley thermals were even worse.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I can't see 25 meters across the street. So, anything further than that, it's like, how are you really engaging?
How are you shooting at 1,000 meters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know, because on a night like that, with that kind of, or even day,
It was during the day, too.
Yeah,
That's when
during
all
the
this
day.
happened.
right, with that much in the air,
Yeah.
much sand. Yeah, they probably should have never pulled the trigger on that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But of course, sandstorm finally clears, and then, we patrolled the Sama for like 2 days. And I remember we're making a button hook on this one road coming back, and had two dudes pop up with AKs and just start taking pot shots. And
At the tanks,
yes,
idiots. Well, we always said the dumb ones died in the beginning of the war.
but it was like called up the contact report, and Toon Sergeant's like, "Well, shoot back." And I'm like, "Can't. My gun's over the back deck."
Yeah.
Man, we're continuing. By the time we're somewhere we could use another weapon system to engage them, it was, they're out of sight.
Right.
I'm like, they're idiots are taking pot shots. And later that same day, we had taken the same route, same thing. Next morning, it was weird. They tried doing the same thing, but they threw a road flare. And that's when, it came over to do an action drill. So we're coming back around, and,
Is it the same two dudes?
yeah.
And they throw a road flare this time.
Yeah.
Oh, scary. Yeah.
Well, we found out there's a rumor going around that the Abrams were made of plywood.
Oh.
So, but, we come around, and, you got 4 tanks online, just machine gun fire left and right. And I remember that's the first time I really shot to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Birch just dropping straight down. He's like, "What the fuck's that?"
Oh, your brand new loader?
Yeah, I look over at him. I'm like, "What are you doing down there? Get up." He pops back up, and I'm like, once again, I told you this, my favorite fire command I've ever given. "Birch, could you lay some fire over there, please?"
Can you do your freaking job, buddy?
He's like, "Roger, Sergeant."
Poor kid. Right out of basic training.
Yeah,
In a
like I
fight.
said, he didn't know what to do. And granted, we didn't have time to train him up,
Right.
but he stepped up. Great kid, and it's just
A lot going on.
End up burning down some of Samara because, or Samwa, because there was some more fettying at this big like warehouse complex. Of course, all our 50s have APIT, so
Mm-hmm.
incendiary
It's gonna
starts,
catch shit on
yeah,
fire.
starts burning down. We turn around, head out, and then I don't remember if it was this patrol or one of the ones before it, but I remember there was a yellow Nissan, and the driver was in his Fedine garb, giving us a thumbs up as he drove by, which is Arabic for
F you.
And Jay's like, "Kill that motherfucker!" But the back of the truck had two wounded dudes in it,
Uh,
and we got back to the AO, and it's like, "Dude, why didn't you shoot him?" I'm like, "He wasn't a combatant, bro. I couldn't." And the PO we had would have thrown me under the bus if I would have done anything anyway. But it was also there weren't a threat.
right.
And kind of hindsight though, did I not make an insurgent that day, or was this guy already that radicalized, or
Yeah, you never know. No point second guessing it.
yeah,
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is go to prison
yeah,
for lighting up the wrong person and having some scared PL
throw you under the
throw you
bus.
under the bus, and next thing you know, you're coming up on charges and going to Fort Leavenworth.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
but that's the thing. Like as soon as I saw those two guys,
Wounded.
and they were torn the hell up, brother. I mean, you could tell they've been coaxed
Right.
really good.
Machine gunned.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
And that's
I don't know
probably
if
why
they
he
were
gave you
like,
guys that freaking universal symbol for a fuck you
yeah,
as he drove by. He probably didn't care if you guys lit him up or not.
but or he knew that he was doing the medevac and we're going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, other people would have heard the platoon sergeant come over the net and say, kill them motherfuckers, and they probably would have,
Yeah.
you know? So who knows? I think he did the right thing.
So do I, but
It doesn't matter. It's over now.
hindsight's 2020.
100%. Yep. Yeah.
But like I said, what was I going to do? Just take one more out? No.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, then, like I said, everything's kind of jumbled. Um, I've talked to I've been stationed with other dudes that were there with us during this time,
Hmm.
but we never really talk about this. And I remember Joey saying something about, he don't want to pull a Ted Kennedy or something, or you know, misremember something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But that's the thing.
It's your perspective. How you remember it is
Yeah.
how you remember it.
And
So if you're a little off, it's okay.
well, and with PTSD, it's
Yeah. That already
stuff gets stored
Definitely.
weird.
Yeah.
But we really don't talk about a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
And is it avoidance?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, in a lot of cases, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, but like I said, some of it gets jumbled.
Yeah.
And I remember, like I said, third platoon, they're always in the lead, followed by the Brads, commander of the nose.
Okay.
Third platoon was Sergeant Morrow, was a platoon sergeant. Freaking old DJ Thunder. Freaking retired sergeant major is my first sergeant in OIF 3, but I also knew him as an E5 back when I was nothing on the collar.
Wow.
Freaking amazing dude. Sergeant Hoskins was one of the other tank commanders. His PO was Stekenberg. then my buddy Mitch Thompson was a junior tank commander of that platoon.
Okay.
And it's weird because his gunner was a guy I went to Master Gunner School with, Jelani Edwards. If you listen to Zulu, love your brother. He ended up going to warrant and flying freaking Blackhawks.
Awesome.
But, you know, you had two E6s on that tank.
Oh, wow.
But freaking, and T, that was always the dude I would compete against as a tank commander.
Okay.
Like, he was on it, you know. But like I said, we never talk about, like, this stuff. It's kind of crazy.
It is kind of wild.
But, you know, we end up pushing up to Karbala, go through Karbala, nothing happens, and then 101st goes in and starts getting lit the hell up.
Right.
Because they realize, I guess, not to mess with tanks.
Right.
And I remember we were kind of set up on a screen line outside Karbala. And once again, this is one of those times where you've been up so long, started hallucinating. And Sergeant Jay's like, man, take your sorry ass to bed, get some sleep. And I remember he had got enough time to get back to his tank. Went on blow up panels to lay down.
Come closer.
Well, I'm laid back and I look up and there's a mortar coming through the sky.
Oh, shit.
And that air bursts.
Oh, shit.
And all I hear over the net's like, don't worry, 3. I got this motherfucker.
He saw the mortar crew?
Yep. And just took him the hell out.
Nice.
It was craziness, man. But, you know, the weird thing is I remember as I'm laying there watching it, it's like you see it slow motion.
Slow motion. Yeah.
And the only thing I'm thinking is,
Oh, here I go.
no, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to hurt.
Did it bust above your tank?
It was about 100 meters ahead
Oh.
and in the air.
Okay.
But
the kill radius for a mortar round is pretty
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
substantial, though.
yeah. But,
Especially an airburst.
oh, yeah. But like it was way up there when it went off.
Thank God they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. But then, you know, I think I was about to nod off. And of course, a freaking MLRS platoon pulls up about 500 meters behind us.
It
It
starts launching.
just starts launching. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's going to be a hard night to sleep.
Well, this is actually mid-morning.
Okay.
But, you know, like I said, we've been up. And at the time, I realized somewhere around 60 hours is where I start getting the visions.
Yeah.
So,
Maggie hallucinates at 60 hours of no sleep.
yeah, well, back then, now it's a lot less. But, you know, it was crazy, man. And then I remember we kind of had to kick out a section because a Patriot shot down an F-18 that crashed in a lake.
Shit.
Got that cleaned up. Then we start pushing toward Baghdad. And remember our 200 cable went out in the spider cable.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried going to UMCP to get fixed. They're like, okay, park your tank over there. You're going to pull guard. And all you see is my dust trail.
I'll fight my take with this cable
Yep.
busted.
My gunner was going to monkey drill it.
Yeah.
Freaking a couple days later, it's like, okay, go back. They try to fix it. Doesn't fix the problem. Go figure.
So you'd have no power in your turret at all?
No, we had power. It's just like
Can't traverse?
you go traverse and it'd be like, eh. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it wouldn't.
Something intermittent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Sounds like the slip ring.
no, it was actually 200 cable.
It really was the cable.
And they screwed up the new one because they put it in the same way the other one did and kind of had folded
Can't-
over on itself.
Yeah.
But
That's a freaking nightmare of a cable.
yeah, our BMO tried chewing my ass for taking off the time before. He's our old XO from way back when. But He's like, you don't leave without like,
I don't want to be here. I want to be in the fight.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
God, you're on a shitty tank, man. Your starter, your transmission, the 200 cable.
dude, it that those tanks were getting beat up though, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. They were beat. They were the same. Those were the same tanks that we had when I was in
Yeah,
Kuwait just a few months prior to that.
yeah.
They were shit. They were garbage.
But imagine that now. Imagine putting hundreds of miles on.
Which is exactly what they needed.
Yeah,
I mean, you know as well as I do, a tank needs to be operated.
but we're also doing it without doing having real time for maintenance.
Right.
Your maintenance is you're checking your oils, you're blowing out V packs,
And then you're going again.
yeah, and you're just pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you're limping that thing along as best you can.
Yeah.
Um,
Bubble gum and duct tape, man. Just
but
get this fucker in the fight.
I will say this: I'd rather be that tank commander and that crew that's getting that tank back in the fight than a couple other people I know that would.
Hang out in the UMCP.
And you're showing up, which actually happened, and being like, "I'm stealing your road wheel arm." Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll let their tank get parted out
Yeah.
so they don't have to get back in the fight because they're getting chow, they're getting sleep,
Yep.
they're getting all these little kind of creature comforts, and the fight's a fight.
Oh,
You're not no sleep, you're up in the front,
And you're going.
and you're gone.
And but like I said,
I knew guys that probably would have taken advantage of that also.
well, we had a tank crew like that, but
That's sad. There's always one.
yeah.
There's always one.
But push up to Baghdad, end up setting up in a small assembly area.
And this sets the stage for what anybody that pays attention to the Iraq War, the invasion, the Thunder Run is
Yeah.
about to happen. Third ID famously did the Thunder Run. And I know you guys
Yeah.
weren't the primary push.
That's 164. We're pretty much on the other side as a blocking force.
And, the east side of
Yeah.
Baghdad.
Yeah. We were, if while the Hornets nest was getting kicked, they didn't go toward 164 and, can't remember if it's first or I think it's second brigade.
Okay.
If they didn't go toward them,
They're-
we're going to catch them.
Okay.
And I remember our little TAA set up. Me and the 4 tank went up, and we're on this canal road. Just he's facing one direction, I was facing the other, and we're just blocking. And I remember there was some Fedayeen, or supposed Fedayeen, came out of the wood line. Jay's like, really shouldn't tell this, but
Go ahead.
Simon's already in prison, so his loader end up, well, he was in prison, but DUI.
Okay.
Jay's like, put a warning shot over that motherfucker's head.
A warning shot.
All of a sudden you see the head snap back. It's like, I told you over his head.
Oops.
But yeah.
Was it a combatant? Do we know?
Don't know.
We'll say yes.
Yeah.
It was a combatant.
But of course, the M4 was a crew serve weapon.
Mhm.
So it's not zero to him.
Right.
So was it an accident?
Could have been.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But
Could have not have been.
I don't know. But like I said, Simon ended up, he kind of had an alcohol problem before we deployed. But within a month of us getting back, he rolls up to the main gate at Fort Benning and is just trashed and tells the gate guard, I'm effed up, and falls out of his car.
Oh my God.
And we end up taking him to jail in Columbus, Georgia.
He didn't go to prison for that.
Yeah,
For a DUI?
yeah.
Why did he go to prison for a DUI?
He already had some DUIs.
Oh, okay. It was one of those.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Huh. Well, hopefully he found a 12-step group and hopefully he's in recovery today.
I hope so, man. He is a great dude,
Yeah.
great kid. And I remember me and Sergeant J had to take him to court for that.
Yeah, that sucks.
It was rough.
Yeah, it's never fun to watch one of your guys go to prison. You know? Yeah, it sucks. So did you guys have anybody try to squirt out your direction after the rest of Third ID is pushing up through the Thunder Run?
Well, we for some reason I remember four had to go back to the TAA, and I got the battalion XO's Bradley up there with me,
Okay.
and Major Disjardin was up there.
Okay.
Freaking, this dude was cool as all get out, man. But I remember we were sitting there, and one of those yellow Nissans pulls up and just stops, and I'm calling over to him. I'm like, "Hey, sir, you got this? You see what I'm saying?" He's like, "Yeah, Roger." He's like, "Continue to observe, see what he does." All of a sudden, it just starts gunning it toward us, and my gunner opens up with a 240. Then you hear, thump, thump, thump,
Bradley opens up.
and you see this truck do a Dukes of Hazzard through the air and land in the canal.
Wow.
And it's like, what the hell just happened? But I remember Major D just turns around with this shitting grin on his face, like, yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh,
I wonder why he was gunning it towards you. It's not a vehicle-borne IED,
no,
was it?
at this time we still didn't know what IEDs were.
Right, true. Good point.
Had some dudes trying to climb up on a T-55 about a couple hundred meters up. There's an abandoned T-55 up there, and I remember opening it up with the 50 because the 240 jammed. Once again, these crappy ass Doha tanks.
Hmm.
Uh,
So you didn't even bring your own crew serve weapons. You drew
No.
their weapons?
yeah,
Okay.
but the feed chute didn't have the lock washer, so you were having to constantly go in there every day and
Oh my God.
make sure everything was adjusted. And Vito Varela, my gunner, went to engage and stop it.
Uh,
Just start plugging off the 50 a little bit, and all of a sudden I start getting secondaries. And I don't know if I'm piercing the rear of this T-55 or if
No
I somehow got inside the hatch.
no way.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Maybe a 50 cal. Well, you had APIs.
yeah,
APIs are pretty heavy duty freaking 50 cal rounds.
yeah.
They're not your standard 50 cal round. Maybe you were penetrating.
I don't know, but
That's
I mean,
insane if you were.
and it wasn't like a full major explosion, but there was like all of a sudden stuff in the turret was cooking off. It's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, I know I didn't do that well,
Yeah.
but can't remember if it was had to go back to the UMCP again for something. I think we had sheared a couple rogue wheel arms, but I remember calling back to the company. I'm like, hey, I need someone to come pick me up because, like I said, I haven't had maps since to the airbase.
Right. You're just out there flapping.
Yeah, and we had just. I didn't realize we had gotten a couple new dudes into the company that got pushed forward to us. And I don't know if you know him, but Tim Smoke, Master Gunner,
No.
he ended up going officer.
Okay.
Actually, do pin second lieutenant the same day he was supposed to pin E8.
Oh, wow.
But I called back to X-ray. I'm like, hey man, I need someone come pick me up, bring me back to the company. And he's like, you can't read a fucking map.
Oh, my God.
I'm like,
Is this like a private or a specialist that you're talking to on the radio?
well, I don't know if what was going on, but I was like, yeah, it'd be nice if I had a map. And he comes back, he's like, what, you can't use a dagger?
Oh, my God. I'd want to rip this dude apart.
Oh, I was living. I'm like, X-ray, you know as well as I do. I'm a wing tank. I don't have a plugger.
You don't have a GPS or a map.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, stand by.
What a piece of shit.
No,
Well, it just makes me mad. I've had those conversations
yeah,
with people on the radio that think they know what they're talking about.
yeah,
And when you're on the radio on a company net, everybody can hear you.
yeah,
And you're trying to troubleshoot me on the radio.
yeah,
And you don't know what you're talking about. And you're trying to make me look stupid? Negative. When I see you face to face, we're going to have a chat. You know what I mean? That shit used to piss me off.
yeah. I mean, once again, this is he got to Benning, and then he literally went on ground. I think 3 days and was in Iraq, dude.
Okay, well, still,
You know, I mean, I gotta give the dude a little grace.
you're too nice, man.
And you know, he ended up being first platoon's platoon, but
Okay. All right. So he was at least your rank.
no, he outranked me.
Oh, he was starting first class.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay. Fair.
you know, getting to know him, it turns out amazing dude.
Okay.
And
He probably hadn't had any sleep either.
yeah, but like we got him.
It just blows my mind that you guys are east of Baghdad and you don't have any way of knowing where you are.
Yeah,
That is insane to me.
so I'm calling up grids by, you know, I marked down TRPs with grids from using Sergeant J's map. And when I'm calling up stuff, I'm like, okay, it's about 100 meters this way, another 150 out.
You're doing interpolation.
Yeah,
Straight up.
and using that to call grids up.
Wow. And it's a good thing you didn't have to call in a 9 line, or did you ever?
No, didn't have to.
But even your contact reports aren't going to be incredibly accurate.
Well, you got to remember contact's just cardinal direction.
Sure, but still, I mean, at some point they're going to want a little bit more.
Or, yeah.
And it's like, I don't really have much to give you. I'm on a highway.
I see a truck.
I'm contact where? Iraq.
But yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
well, like I said, get back
That's
to the
crazy.
company, and you know, I think we're doing. I can't remember if this is before or after this though. I do remember doing a push through Baghdad on one of the major highways,
Okay.
and I remember I think we've been spliced back to 269, but all of a sudden Panther 6 comes on our battalion commander,
Okay.
J.R. Sanderson. Oh my God, Pappy, amazing dude, amazing commander. Comes over the net. He's like, all Panther elements, Panther 6. If there's any question about this, if you receive sniper fire from a building, the answer is at least 2 heat rounds back to that fucking building. 6 out.
Wow. He's not playing.
No. So, you know, but there's a reason we call him Pappy. It was always, even before deployment, he expected you to know your job. You damn sure better take care of your soldiers.
Yeah.
And, you know, it'd always be, he'd come up to you, and if it's a group, he'd be, all right, darlings, what are our kids doing? And he expects you to be able to brief him on your soldiers.
As you should be able to. Yeah.
And he was also the type of battalion commander. He could walk up to almost anybody in that battalion and ask them about their wife, kids.
He
by
just kind of
name.
knew.
Yeah.
I love guys like that. Yeah, those are the best.
And first time I met this dude, though, was in that pre-deployment gunnery. It's me and Mario Serenese in the tower. He's the battalion my golf. Once again, another amazing master gunner, an amazing guy. He comes walking in, no max, no name, tapes, anything. And I've got my no max on. He's all of a sudden just starts filling me up. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Unzips his pocket, reaches in, pulls out my Copenhagen, pops the lid, takes half the can, throws it in his lip. He's like, all right. And he's like, pass me on the shoulder. Thank you, darling. All right, my golf's
He
really
called you
doing.
darling?
Yeah. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
That's your battalion commander.
Yeah. But, amazing guy.
That's awesome. I was thinking of something that happened to me in Iraq. I don't know if you were you ever messing around with a straight M1 A2, like the first A2s.
When I taught TC3, I played around with some golf troops, but that was it.
So I never went to a TC3 course before I went to the third ACR. So that was
Yeah.
my first time on M1 A2s. And I didn't know anything about them. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, I'm in Iraq
Mm-hmm.
and I want to try this IVAS system. Do you know how you know what
Yeah.
IVAS is? It's like you got this screen in front of you. It's got grids. It looks like a map,
Yep.
and you set it up at the beginning of your mission, and it basically goes off your track,
Yeah.
and it keeps track of where you are based off the tank's movement. It's not GPS at all.
And you have to realign it every what? I forget how often.
Pretty freaking often because I didn't know that.
Oh god.
I didn't know that. So I'm the lead tank,
Yeah.
and we're on a mission, and it's just a tank platoon. So it's just 4 tanks, and I did a map recon before we went out, and I knew that we had to head down this route, make a left on this road, and then continue mission down to where we were going to go. So I'm just I'm watching Ibis. I'm sitting down inside the tank. I'm just watching the screen, and we're just going and going and going and going. And as far as I can tell, the road is still up ahead of us,
Yeah.
about 500 meters. And the platoon leader calls me over the radio. He's like, "Hey, Whiting, where are we going, man?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The road's up here on the left, yeah?" And he's like, "No, we passed it like 2 kilometers ago." I'm like, "No shit." All right, well, I'll use my GPS because the IBIS doesn't work.
Pause nav. That's what.
Pause nav, that's what it was. Yeah,
And it used the rotation of the track plus your turret position sensor.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It worked in theory, but it didn't work in reality.
Yeah.
That was a joke. And there was something else you were talking about that kind of triggered a thought in me. I can't remember what it was. Ah, whatever. Doesn't matter now. Okay, so when you were talking about Panther 6 saying if you take sniper fire, 2 main gun rounds into that building.
Yeah.
That's what he expects. So I had 3rd ACR's regimental commander when I went in was Colonel McMaster.
Yeah.
And Colonel McMaster is kind of a legend to him.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
a legend from the first Gulf War, 73 Easting. He took all of the tank commanders and Bradley commanders, put us in a tent the night before we went into Iraq. And he said, "Look, guys, I've watched every single one of you, every one of your crews qualify. I trust every single one of you." He goes, "If they shoot 7.62 at you, you shoot 50 cal at them."
Yeah.
He goes, "If they shoot an RPG at you, you shoot main gun at them. No questions asked. You don't have to ask for permission."
Yeah.
Got it? And everybody's like, "Oh yeah." We all just felt relieved that it's like this guy's got our back.
Oh yeah.
If the shit hits the fan and we gotta escalate and throw down some hate at somebody, we have a regimental commander that's got our back. And that was just a good feeling. So I imagine when you have Panther 6 calling over the net to everybody
Yeah.
and saying, "Look, this is what I expect. Don't ask for permission, just execute." That's awesome.
And it's kind of weird. Like I said, we were attached to 130. Then we got spliced off to 115, back to 269, back to 130. We're just getting pushed all over the place.
Redheaded stepchildren.
But, come to think about this had to be before the checkpoint that we're running because just after that, I remember us being short halted on that highway in Herringbone out. And they're like, all right, they've got overpass strong pointed. And they're like, we're going to drop RD on it. And then the artillery came in. And I remember rounds complete. And they're like, okay, blow through. We've killed vehicles. We don't know if there's going to be secondaries. But I just remember maxed out and trying to slalom through.
Tanks that are burned.
Well, it's PCs, trucks, and the thing that stands out in my head is there was a dead Iraqi in the middle of the road, no arms, no legs, but somehow his beret was still on his fucking head.
Weird. Weird.
And it's
And
weird.
that's the shit that just imprints in your
Yeah.
mind, isn't it? Yeah.
And, punching through that.
Surreal.
And then I remember getting past that. One of those damn Nissan trucks pulls up on the highway into the convoy, and the Bradleys stop them. And I can't remember their platoon sergeant's name, the infantry guy, the country guy. I just remember hearing the call come out over the net that, this guy, I don't know if he's drunk or what, but he says he's a samurai. And then having the two come back over that, no. He's of the Al Samurai tribe, saying he's from Samara.
I don't know if this guy's drunk. He says he's a samurai. That's awesome.
And like I said, it's that weird stuff that sticks with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Hey, I'm going to pause this. I'm going
Okay.
to take a leak.
Go for it, brother.
All right, we're back.
All right.
Okay, I feel much better. Okay, so continuing with the thunder runs into Baghdad. So what that whole process, was that multiple days of thunder runs like probes into Baghdad, or was it just one major operation, or how did that work?
Well, initially it was supposed to be 164.
Right. And they're the ones that did the button hook to buy out.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And the whole theory behind it was you go in there and you kick every little hornet's nest you can to get them to come out and fight. So
Right.
you can, if you can't destroy them, you're going to push them into somebody else that is going to destroy them.
Okay. So
At least that's
the
my
concept.
understanding.
That's the concept of operation.
Yeah.
Let's just all right. Okay. And during this time frame, if people remember, there was the guy who was kind of the propaganda chief for Saddam Hussein, who was making announcements that there's no American tanks in Baghdad.
As the tank rolls
As
by.
tanks are rolling by him. Yeah. Which honestly, as an observer, I was in Korea while this was going on, and we're watching this stuff on CNN or whatever. And we're expecting that Baghdad's going to be a siege. It's going to be a major fight, and there's going to be potentially a lot of casualties, American casualties. And then when we heard that just tanks were just rolling in column formation straight down the highways and lighting shit up, it was like, wow. That's 164. That was their kind of experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, there were some other fights going on too, like 269. We lost Pruitt and Huxley, two young men. They were in a fueler. Tanks were trying to get refueled and everything else, and they just got. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. We don't have to. We don't have to. You knew them though, I take it?
Knew them in passing. They support platoon and stuff.
Sure.
But like I said, it is crazy. 164 does their thunder run, then all right, we're all going to get on this. We're going to go start some trouble up.
Okay, so now it's your turn to push into Baghdad.
Yeah, and I remember it was very little contact, but we're end up okay. Let's take out static equipment, and it's just left on the side of the road.
Okay.
And we're kicking infantry dudes out with thermites and
just blowing up the vehicles that they've abandoned.
Yeah.
That the Iraqis abandoned.
And there were a couple small arms contacts, and I remember coming into one of those spaghetti junction areas and hearing Blue 4's been hit. And Sergeant Morrow had taken either a ricochet or a round to the forearm.
Okay.
Which, like I said, Morrow, amazing tanker. Uh, love you, Sergeant Major. You're a great dude. We didn't know what happened, but like you got your usual company net chat.
Hmm.
As soon as 4 Golf came over with that, everything goes silent.
Yeah.
And then you hear our medic Sergeant Smith come over. Hey, he's fine. He's fine. It's just minor. We're going.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah, that pregnant pause though when you're
yeah.
waiting for, is he KIA?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that's a sucky moment in time.
But we're running open protected.
Right.
So you want to explain what it is, or you want me to?
Yeah, so basically you can go open hatch, which tank commanders can be, name tag defilade or even belly defilade,
Yeah.
which I used to do a lot, which was stupid. But you can be completely out of the hatch. You can come in and out of the hatch. Open protected is you can bring your hatch down to a position where your head's covered, but you still have about what would you say, about 4 inches,
About 4 inches of gap.
3 or 4 inches of gap to where you can kind of look around and see what's going on. But you don't have it's. I mean, I know anybody that's been on a tank before. Open hatch is the best for navigation and seeing what's going on around
Yeah.
you because you can really get up and you can look around.
It gives you situational awareness.
Much better situational awareness. Open protected is protected
Yeah.
clearly from shrapnel from indirect fire or small arms fire, but your situational awareness is much more restricted. Okay, so you guys are open protected rolling in.
And like I said, we had already gone through kicked hornets nests, and we're coming out. And that's when that call comes over.
So he may have taken a round that hit the hatch and came down
Yeah.
into the hatch or into the turret.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I'm still not sure to this day. I know it wasn't bad enough for him to get fully sent back to launch or anything like that.
Okay.
He just got bandaged up and stayed with us.
Stayed in the fight?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay.
Like I said, man, freaking going back to the Germany days, Super Mario he's a tanker, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome.
But
All right. So anything else on that particular push?
not really on that push. Like I said, everything's jumped, man.
Yeah. Well, whatever you remember when you remember it, even if
Yeah.
it's not consecutive or in sequence, it's fine.
I remember another one of our patrols were patrolling as a platoon. We're coming back to that TAA by where we had that checkpoint I was telling you, and we're coming by a truck full of artillery rounds. And as Sergeant Jay's passing, he's like, those motherfuckers getting rounds and they're fitting. Light them up, 3. So, we're a little further up, coax, jams.
Of course, Jesus.
And like I said, tired as shit. What do? Caliber 50. Then it hits me. I'm shooting at a truck
Full of ammunition.
full of ammunition and artillery propellant
Yeah.
with APIT.
With incendiary armor piercing rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, oh, fuck. And trying to get my hatch closed, telling my crew, get down on me, yelling at there. So I'm like, go, 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 go. Ba-boom.
It explodes.
Yeah. And I remember getting back to the Alpha and I'm shaking up as hell.
Yeah. Did it knock you out or anything?
No. Sergeant King comes up. He's like, man, that was the prettiest thing I've ever seen. He's like, that truck went up, that fireball came around your tank, then you came shooting out.
Looked like some Hollywood stuff, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm glad you got a great view, man.
That's awesome. I got a visual. I could see that in my mind's
Yeah.
eye. That is really cool. I didn't realize you were that effing close to it.
But, like I said, I remember, APIT hits, it gives that sparkly flash.
Yeah.
That dancing up the front of that truck and going, oh, fuck.
Oh God, what did I just do? That stuff is so lethal. The first time I fired those for real
Yeah.
was in Iraq, and I was just firing into the desert at some bushes just to test fire. And I caught a large chunk of that desert on fire. I'm like, my God, this stuff really is incendiary. I mean,
So, another crazy one. This is after end of major hostilities.
okay. Which was actually, in hindsight, was the beginning of major hostilities. But okay.
We got sent to this old Iraqi army outpost that, this is where they're taking all the ammo, dropping it here. We're basically there to kind of guard it.
Right.
And before I get to this, I'm going to hit this up too. So,
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't have the best platoon leader during the invasion.
Happens.
But I remember one night, Sergeant Hensley, Sergeant Johnson's gunner, swore he saw somebody duck into the building. I'm like, all right, man. Let's go look. Go over there. I'm like, that door's not even fully open, man. No one ducked in there. And the lieutenant shows up out of nowhere. He's like, I used to be an MP. We're going to clear this.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, sir, let's pull the door shut. Use that steel beam, put it on the knob. If someone opens it, it's going to make a racket.
Yeah.
And he's calling me, checking all this other bullshit.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, okay, whatever. This dude kicks the door. The door flies open. He steps forward. Door hits the wall, comes back, smashes him in the face.
Oh, Jesus.
We ended up propping the steel beam up on the door.
Yeah, let's do it Maggie's way. That's so awesome.
But I don't know what happened.
That's what it gets. So the platoon leader is going to be the number one guy
Yeah.
in this. Okay. What a dipshit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But that was the entire deployment with this guy, with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I can totally relate. I had similar.
but no, it wasn't that time that this happened. It was try to remember. I think the next morning was when we had the Sikh parade, and I guess there was like some kind of religious parade they had never been able to do in so many years, and
Oh, okay.
they're coming down the street and smacking their heads with freaking swords.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like there's dudes with blood pouring down.
It's almost like a flagellation type ceremony. And Saddam Hussein had banned it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're coming down the road, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
That'd be awesome to watch, though.
Well, and like I said, they're just coming down in front of us, and it's like, what the? And I'm looking over at Jay and Doc, and it's like, Sergeant King, it's like, what the? He's like, man, they ain't messing with us.
They come chasing at us with these swords, so. Wow.
And then third platoon relieved us, and as we're leaving, there's another stockpile of ammo off to the side. I remember Jay's like, hey, hold up. And he's yelling at him to get away from the ammo, and they're kind of blowing him off. Then I look over, he's like, all right. He's like, 3, stand by. And I see him drop down inside. I see the 50 start going.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh shit. And they're just kind of watching them, and you're still trying to pick up like all these little grenades and bullshit. And then you just hear the 50. He had aimed off just a little bit to the side. Sparks, the APIT spark, and these people just
disperse.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
It's like, holy shit.
That's a warning shot.
Yeah.
But
it was funny because, He's looking at him, he's yelling at him, then he's like, all right. And drops down inside. You watch a 50. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Here we go. Jesus.
But, it's got the same thing too around that time of people's cell phones are considered hostile because they're using that to call in indirect.
Mm-hmm.
And someone had called up, hey, I think I saw a guy with a cell phone on top of a building. Jay's like, is it this one? Just going building the building.
Nobody cares at this
No.
point. It's wild, wild west.
Oh yeah, but what are you gonna do? Let one of your guys get hurt, or are you gonna eliminate the threat?
Did you tell me a long time ago a story about a school bus full of dudes,
School bus.
or some kind of a bus that was bringing fighters up?
No, that wasn't me.
Maybe it was Osiris. Somebody was telling me they brought this bus full of dudes coming up to fight. Might have been fatigue, I don't know. And they started exiting the door of the bus, just like kids getting off at a bus stop. And the tank was lighting them up with coax as they were coming out the door. And they were just piling up, and people were just stepping over. The fighters would just keep coming out and stepping over, and they finally fired main gun into it and just blew the whole damn thing up. But it's like you think about that, how surreal it is that these guys just keep coming right into that fire. It's like they have no idea what's happening to these people in front of them.
They're just ignoring it.
They're ignoring it and just going and walking right into the machine gun fire. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
My buddy Mitch, I think it was Thompson, 3rd Platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same situation. Dude went to pick up an RPG. Another dude runs up, and he's just stacking them.
Yeah, they keep going for the same weapon system, right? And they're just dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right into the kill zone.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when we paused, you and I, we talked about wrapping this at your adventures in the invasion, because we're almost at 2 hours now, and it's midnight here. It's getting late. Any other lessons learned or anything else that you want to talk about with?
Well, we kind of touched on it. You were talking about it's not all bloodthirsty and everything's in together. Kind of remember, like I said, First Sergeant Garza died in a traffic accident. Great dude, Joe Garza, man, amazing guy. But I remember cleaning out my V packs on the back deck and getting that call. And it's like, we got to go secure that site to get meds back in. My platoon was able to get up and rolling within like 5 minutes. A platoon from 170th or 270th, I can't remember, was up and rolling out right with the QRF, going to that site to secure it, man. It's like, when one of your guys gets hit, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
You're going to the sound of the guns.
Yep, every single time. And you said it was a traffic accident?
Yeah.
What happened?
He was doing a log pack.
Oh.
And of course, we had soft skin Humvees.
Oh.
An Iraqi car swerved into him and hit the Humvee. Yeah. He got basically ejected and was killed.
Oh, man. That's awful.
But like I said, man, it's craziness.
Yeah. It's total insanity. Wow. Well, I think, because you've got a lot more to tell. You did a lot more shit in your military career. But we're going to cap it right now at OIF 1. You'll be heading back to Mississippi tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do, if you're cool with it, is do a remote, and we'll pick it up, and we'll do a part 2 for the post-invasion years. And, you and I were in Afghanistan at the same time, in the same brigade. And you saw some shit in Afghanistan, and you dealt with some shit in Afghanistan. So I definitely want to do a part 2 with you and talk about that shit.
Okay.
Talk about what that was like for you. I know there are two totally different fights, Iraq and
Oh
Afghanistan.
yeah.
Two totally different fights, and I think each story should be told separately. But I definitely want to talk about that one. Um, but appreciate you, man. Thanks for doing this with me. You drove up here from Mississippi to drop your daughter off Louisville up to here. How many hours have you been on the road today?
12 and a half.
12 and a half, and now you're going to sit down with my dumb ass and talk about the war for a couple hours.
Hey, it's fun, brother. But like I said, tell you what, how about you get another podcast or two in, and don't make me follow a rock star like Joey, man.
Whatever, man. Whatever, dude. Now
Forget
this is great. I think this is fantastic because it's it's the first time that I've sat down with somebody and we just talk about the grittiness and the reality of what the war was like,
Yeah.
the invasion. And it's not all sexy. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of sleepless days.
Oh yeah.
And there's just a lot of push, 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 go, go, go. And I think people lose sight of that fact. I mean, it's pretty common for guys on the invasion to have gone 60, 72 hours with no sleep.
Yeah.
They're just going. Um, and everybody's doing it. The whole unit has to push it to one.
Oh yeah.
There's no time for breaks.
Well, and it's not just third ID, man. Gotta remember you had fourth ID,
First Armored Division.
first armored, freaking the Marines,
Yeah. Yeah. And what other coalition forces were on the ground?
the Brits.
The Brits were there with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got all this air power going on over top.
So rewind all the way back to Kuwait.
Okay.
So I ever tell you about getting thrown off the Challenger 2?
No. Challenger 2 is a British tank.
Yeah. So we're on Udari screening, and there's a Challenger 2 platoon there.
Of course, you want to go check it out.
I'll show you mine, you show me yours.
Exactly.
Which, crazy, crazy tank. Their gunner state is using like a PlayStation controller.
Right. Even back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Did they have a loader?
yeah,
Okay.
but they use that silly 3-part ammunition system. They swear is better, but
Yeah, but it's like three pieces that you have to load.
yeah,
That.
you projectile, propellant, then close the breech, load the blank 306.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And they swear it's faster.
Okay.
But I'm sitting there and
There's a reason we won the war
I'm
in
talking-
'76.
yeah, I'm talking to the tank commander, and he keeps saying, you guys from the colonies, and I finally had him. I'm like, hey man, pretty sure about 200 years ago we kicked your asses out, so we couldn't be called the colonies anymore. You need to get off the tank, mate.
That's hilarious. That is so funny. I think it was another podcast I heard a guy talking about working with British Special Forces, and he said they were all fun and games, man, until you mentioned the Queen, and they're like, no,
No.
we don't talk about the Queen. It's like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
You don't say shit about the Queen. It was like they were serious.
But hey, like I said, we kind of won 2 wars back in the 70s.
Yeah. We've already showed you guys not once but twice. Yeah, that's hilarious, man.
Bailed them out 2 world wars,
Yeah. That's hilarious. I'm probably going to bail them out of this Ukraine thing too that they got us into. We'll see how that fucking goes. All right, brother.
All right.
It's been fucking real, man. I appreciate it. We're still going to shoot the shit tonight,
All right.
but I know we've been kind of guarded on names that we're not dropping and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't want microphones for that. So we will pick this up again. But thanks a lot, man.
No worries, brother.